What's up, everyone? It's Tweek or Gavin.
What up, what up? It's Charles or Chuck.
I wasn't sure if Chuck was going to mix it up. What up, everyone? It's Matt or Haz. What's happening, everyone? No Marcus this week, unfortunately. He's got a Xanadu to win. Get that diaper money, of course. He's been killing it recently, so happy to see Marcus always out there doing his thing. But enough about Xanadu. We had a lot of good tournaments this weekend, and we got a lot of the Summer Smash stuff is back. The Gauntlet is back. It's coming up. But first, Charles, what do you got to say?
Well, before we get into the juicy content that you are enjoying for free, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you guys are enjoying it. That helps us out a lot. And if you guys really want to help us out, make sure to check out our bonus content on Patreon. We have bonus episodes every week. This week, we're going to be talking about our recent experiences in Smash in terms of just like what characters we've been grinding, what characters we've been experimenting with. So all that juicy content on Patreon. So make sure to check it out.
Thank you, Charles. I think the first thing that comes to mind is actually how interesting it is how well Marcus has been doing in region after having his first child.
He's got that.
I think that's so cool.
He's got the motivation, man.
Yeah, no, it just shows how much there is to Smash. It's not about just, who puts in the most, physical play time. It's more so like there's so much that can go into it. Like Marcus already has so much experience under his belt that, maybe a healthy lifestyle, like a healthy mentality, like maybe he's thinking about the game, and it's just so interesting because he's been winning quite a bit ever since having the kid. So I think that's really cool. That reminds me of like a big change I made like over quarantine, where like it's like I took things more seriously, but I was playing like less. I was playing like at least 60% less more than I was before. So, and as soon as we came out of quarantine, I did well at a couple tournaments and stuff, and I was like, wow, like you'd be surprised, how long your Smash muscle memory sticks with you, even if you're not playing as much, if you're kind of approaching it in a different way.
Yeah, I think being efficient with your time is the main thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like some people, they'll put endless hours, but like there's no objective, or they're just playing to grind, but they're not attempting to get max value. And I feel like that happens a lot with younger players because younger players just have an abundant amount of time, right? But as you get older and you get more responsibilities, it's kind of just like, well, now I have less and less time, so now I have to be more effective with this less amount of time.
And he's doing that very well, right on the CSS. Min, baby. Way to go, Marcus. Very intelligent. Always been very smart with his character choices since Brawl, basically. Since that era, he's been doing really well, picking really good characters. And like jokes aside, he's always been a godlike player. And like you said, Gavin, he talked about this after Summit, like finding the right motivation and finding is at Summit, he was kind of mopping like everyone, even people who were like in the main bracket. And he's always kind of been that. He's just so chill and relaxed. Like that's just Marcus.
Yeah.
And it is nice to see him. I'm sure he enjoys getting out of the house a little bit as well. So the motivation is, hey, if I keep winning, I get to chill here a little bit longer. You know what I'm saying? Maybe He might be, I bet you he's sleeping in that venue just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He's just nodding off in the corner. He rents one of the PCs in Xanadu, just puts on a nice music, like some nice, I don't know, soft music.
He's playing TFT, bro.
He is double grinding, actually, I'm sure. True. Yeah. Always, dude, it's been a bummer. I feel like it's been hard to get all four of us on the podcast recently, like all four of us all together. I know we've all been busy, and I know we're entering the busy season of Smash. So if we keep it going.
Yeah, absolutely. I just thought I'd mention that. We have a lot to talk about, but shout outs to Marcus. And yeah, the first tournament I actually wanted to get into was we kind of skipped over it. We had a Gluto guest episode and stuff like that. But High Rez happened, and Quidd took the whole thing. And I think that's a great topic alone, just because Pokemon Trainer winning a tournament. Pokemon Trainer is a very popular character. It's also a character I've played a bunch. And I feel like ever since, Quidd got a couple good wins and like got some good stream time, it's very clear that this is like a special player. I don't know how else to word it. Like it's very clear that Quidd has the X factor, kind of like Has, for example.
True.
And yeah, and it's interesting because this is coming from someone who has played a lot of PT myself, but this PT is just different. It's like Quidd's gameplay was so fun to watch. I had a great time watching him play. I don't know if y'all watched any of it at all or how y'all feel about PT taking a big tournament, but it's definitely not easy. So
One thing I do want to say is amongst all these tournaments, you know, obviously talking about High Rez right now, but also Defend the North and Patchwork. This is people have been saying they really want to see more vanilla top tiers do well. I think that wish was kind of granted over these last 2 weekends. I mean, even just looking at just High Rez, Quidd first, Louis Money, my guy, by the way. I was surprised to see him there, but very, very happy as always. I love watching him play. He got second, only losing to Quidd. So right there, you have Palu PT, Zomba getting third, obviously all Rob. Shout out to C, by the way, the capital letter C and then 2 E's after. Great Palu player who beat Zomba and forced him to go on a 10-game losers, or I guess 8-game losers bracket run. Leon, Bowser, Geist, Bayo, DeBuzz, unless he went Min-Min, then, you know, but he mostly plays Rosa these days and a little Olimar and Min-Min. Guy, and my guy Smark. I got to give Smark a shout out, of course, always. Great Ken player from Colorado, which is a really good state, by the way. Very, very strong state between Chrono, Shu, Smirk, a couple other killers. And then Guy plays Luigi, right?
Yeah.
That's all vanilla characters right there, unless you count DeBuzz's Min-Min.
Yeah.
And Buff Bayo, but give it up.
It was just like, it's crazy to like really get that much creativity out of PT, because other than being 3 characters, like for the last few years, like PT is kind of what you expect when you're watching, if you keep up with Smash Ultimate enough, I think. But with Quidd, sometimes he'll really do something you're not expecting, and I find that very impressive, and definitely just makes me want to watch. Because a player is super amazing, I'm not always like super excited to watch. But honestly, with Quidd, like I'll stop what I'm doing to watch Quidd play. So,
what would you call out as Quidd's most outstanding features as a player, or qualities as a player?
That's the thing. I honestly don't know what to say. It's like I'm so busy being impressed watching the gameplay. It's like I don't even have a pinpoint answer for that, which is insane. I feel like I usually can tell you why a player is super good, but the only thing that comes to mind is creativity, and you can definitely see a level of enjoyment when watching Quidd play, and like a nice like casualness to it. Like Quidd genuinely looks like he's there to have fun, and I think that's great. And I don't know, maybe there's some of that fearless there that we've talked about on the show. You know what I mean? That, you know, not too many players have like all the time, like that are just fearless. Feels like he has a little bit of all that stuff. I don't know how y'all feel about it, but
for me, I actually have a lot to say about Quidd. So when I coached Gavin, I can't even remember the year, but I remember the first tournament I coached you for was a big house, the one that Zachary won, I believe. Yeah. And when I started coaching Gavin, I didn't get too much time with Gavin's Pokemon trainer. He dropped the character like a couple months after I think I started coaching him. And one of the things I thought the next level, like the next thing for Ivysaur's meta was forward air. I thought forward air was like super underutilized. Like not a lot of Pokemon trainers back then used forward air. A lot of it was like nair and back air. But if you watch Quidd's Ivysaur,
so many different spacings with it too.
Yes, he does a shit ton of forward air, and it's like it's so wild to me because I don't think I've ever talked to Quidd about this or anything, and I don't like past. I don't know who else like, and I don't think I'm the only person that can be like, oh my god, I'm so big brain that I'm the only person on planet Earth that thought forward air was like the next move or whatever. But it's just, for me, like the crossover is so interesting because I always thought forward air was just so underutilized and it's very slow, but you have to defend yourself at a certain point with Ivysaur, right? And like Quidd will do even to the point where he like runs up to you, does jump rising forward air to catch your retreating jump back. Like he uses forwarder in so many different ways, and just the way he utilized that move, that usually that is a dead zone for Ivysaur, like, because most people just never swung forwarder, and he combos off the forwarder too. If they DI in, or if he catches certain drifts ins and stuff like that, it's pretty amazing. So I think the way Quidd innovated a character that was thought to be figured out is very impressive, because I think that's what everyone, like, the reason why everyone thinks that Pokemon Trainer fell off is because, like, oh well, it's a solved character, right? Like, it's very basic. There is 3 characters, but you play Squirtle, then you play Ivysaur, and then you do Squirtle, you do the 50% combo, you throw them off stage, you get 1 Ivysaur down air attempt, right? You didn't get it, cool. You can fade back for a ledge trap, and then at higher percents, you just switch to Charizard for more weight, and then you go from there, right? That like is the basic blueprint for Pokemon Trainer. But Quidd will have insane switches at unexpected times where it's like, oh wow, like he switched from Charizard to Squirtle even though he's at 180 or 150 for the smaller hurt box and stuff like that. So it's very reminiscent of the earlier stages of Tweek's Pokemon Trainer, but it feels like the evolution, like he evolved the character even more, which is really sick to see. And seeing Ivysaur utilize their whole kits, his Charizard's really fun to watch as well, and how he switches in all these different situations, because that's the hardest move to use on Pokemon Trainer at top level, is just down B. Down B is knowing when and where to switch, and I'm pretty sure Tweek can attest to this, just how hard that move is to figure out, like, when is the right time to switch. And you kind of don't know until you do it, and you like, oh, did I get screwed for it, or did I win for it, right? It's only just based off experience, really.
Yeah, and another thing he did well was he was 2-framing with Squirtle's up B, which has that really low hitbox, and it's not like I didn't know about it, but it's just so awesome, like, seeing some of, like, the things, like, I didn't really use too much.
You showed me that at Big House. I remember it. Like,
yeah,
it's so we were in the training area, and you're like, dude, check this out, like, illusion to ledge, and I would illusion, and then you missed it a couple times, and you got it, and you're like, man, this is so good, but I don't know if I have the balls to do it in bracket. You know what I mean? Because if
he did it
miss
a lot.
Yeah, if you miss it, you're fucked, right?
Yeah.
But, I mean, just ups to him having the crazy execution. And a side note, Quidd is focusing on college right now, so I don't know exactly how much Quidd plays the game, but
yeah, he doesn't travel out of region type of stuff. So
right.
For example, like Quidd versus Luis, like, probably not something we're gonna see very often, but we got to see it. So really cool. Right, we were just kind of talking about this with Marcus and having a kid, but doing really well when he does play. Like, with Quidd, it might not be the exact same, but he's definitely not playing as much as some of these other people in the top bracket. So
the other thing about Quidd too is, and Charles, you kind of like marked the point where PT fell off as a character, right? And not only that, but I think the nerfs to Ivysaur are really what did it for a lot of players. Like, I think Ivysaur going from one of the best characters in the game to, like, pretty meh in a lot of people's eyes was really, really difficult, because that adds more pressure to, when do I switch? How do I switch? When do I use Ivysaur now? Ivysaur used to be like a Swiss Army knife. Like, you use Ivysaur like closeout stocks, early stocks, like all this other stuff. Quidd, though, not afraid. Like you said, fearlessness, I think, is a big thing with Quidd. Dude, Ivysaur up tilts a decent amount, which I don't think I've ever really seen that move used.
Some of the strange moves come out for sure, like definitely down smashes, like
down smash, up tilt, forward air, like
it's
all the
awesome.
weird shit.
It's awesome,
yeah, it's really cool, and I love that, because it's breathing new life into a character that, as Charles said, we thought was solved and then got nerfed, and now we're seeing, like, this whole new side of this character. So, like you said, Gavin, it takes a special player to do something like that. To win this tournament with that character, you got to be fucking nice. So glad to see Quidd the kid take that one down, man. He didn't drop a set. He had to beat Luis twice. Like, this is not easy stuff, man.
Absolutely. I think watching Tri-State is a lot of fun. And throwing players like Luis in there is pretty cool. Throwing players like Geist in there is pretty cool. Zamba did well as always. Luis getting second. DeBuzz is in there like always, of course. Leon kind of just finds a way to be in, like, the highest part of bracket. That's something we've always said about Leon. Like, he just wins. Like, that's just what he does. It's
Bowser. It's pretty.
Yeah,
hard.
You'll think Leon is losing a set or a game, and he'll always just win. he just hits you with like, you know, side B 20 times or something. Like, I feel like Leon is such a mysterious player. Like, it's just
Yeah.
we don't even know what's going on, but he makes it work. And that's great. So yeah, I thought High Rez was a fun watch. And then, you know, that was one we skipped over, but then there's Defend the North and Patchwork, which were a little more recent. We got Mr. E winning Defend the North. We got MuteAce winning Patchwork. Yeah, Defend the North has a lot of tri-state players again, and then Patchwork was in North Carolina. I guess starting off with Patchwork, MuteAce is definitely getting very familiar to taking entire brackets over the last like year or so, I would say. Whether it's regional or not, I feel like that's a really big sign for a player having potential to like win a big one. If they just the two players that come to mind with this kind of thing are MuteAce and Apollo Kage, who like have been consistently winning like regional size tournaments, maybe even a slightly bigger than that. And I think that's definitely worth noting.
Oh yeah, I mean Mute has been doing so well, especially, you know, that second at Genesis, very very close. Would have loved to seen Mute go ahead and clutch down out, but beating Leo at Genesis is really, really, really hard. There's been only one player to do it. I'm not going to mention his name to boost his ego, but yeah, there's been one player to do it so far. But it's crazy because even now where Leo's not as dominant, he still just shows up for Genesis, which I think is sick. Mr. Genesis himself. So
there's gonna be one tournament you're the mister of. Genesis is a good one for sure.
That is a very good one, yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
Dude, that tournament too. I gotta shout out a few players. Ling, shout out to Ling by the way at that
With
tournament.
The DDD?
Beating MuteAce in the earlier rounds. They refused the Peach Ditto. Well, Ling refused the Peach Ditto. Went DTD, which is a real secondary he's had since like Smash 4. Like he's done that for a while. So I'm happy to see Ling made a run. And I think like had the character counter picks gone a couple other ways, Ling could have taken that tournament, which is wild. Ling's one of those players that could just show up and destroy brackets sometimes. So love to see that from him for sure. Andrik also had a reverse 3-0 against a good Pikachu player, which as Captain Falcon, I think it takes such mental fortitude and resilience to be able to do that. Like Falcon against Pikachu is going to be a struggle pretty much the entire time. I've just been seeing Andrik do well, even when he's in these tough positions. So shout out to Andrik for playing super well recently. And then, oh, dude, how can we not shout out Lucky, by the way? Did you guys watch that set?
I did not.
Reverse 3-0 over Cosmos, Plant versus Aegis the entire way? Are you serious?
It's a good matchup for Plant, right? You can edge guard Aegis.
It's really nice. Yeah, it's great actually.
Yeah, I heard you can edge guard Aegis with.
Yeah, your moves send Aegis off stage.
So, that is and then good. You edge guard, right.
So if you have moves that send off stage, you win. So.
That shit looked like a struggle, bro. Dude, some of the strings and true combos he got, just ridiculous. I've always been, a low fan to Lucky fan, if you guys don't know. They're twin brothers.
Yeah.
So.
Shout outs to both of them.
Definitely. So Lucky, dude, that's like one of the best Plant wins we've ever seen in this game. It was it was reverse 3-0. It was so fun to watch. It was amazing.
I guess for like clarity, like for most of the community, Plant is not only like a lower tier character, Plant is one of the worst characters in the game. And Aegis is one of the best characters in the game. So it's a pretty insane matchup and win there. But overall, this tournament was so Peach dominant. Like Ling beating Shiny Mark is really impressive. And then Shiny Mark losing to MuteAce after that. MuteAce 3-0ing Toast, which honestly is pretty impressive. I feel like Young Link definitely puts up a pretty good fight versus Peach.
Specifically, MuteAce struggles in that matchup a lot. Like, whenever I see Young Link and MuteAce path, I get nervous for Mute.
Yeah. MuteAce beating Peebnut. Shouts to Peebnut, by the way, getting fourth. Peebnut's like one of my favorite players on the planet.
Same. How could you not love that guy? He's great.
Yeah. I love Mega Man. Peebnut's great. MBD getting third. Towards the end of that bracket, it was getting pretty hard to tell who was going to win. I was like, damn, Ling could win this tournament. MVD could very realistically win this tournament. But MuteAce making quite the loser's run, after losing to Ling's DDD. This tournament was weird. Plant DDD. And then they kind of had just quite the grand finals with like counter picks and like,
The
the
Palu
momentum
came out.
Yeah, the momentum was going really back and forth. But yeah, that was a pretty interesting bracket. It's cool to see Shiny Mark competing in different situations more.
He got top five at this. He got top 5 of this tournament, only losing to Peaches, which we've always known notoriously is bad for Pikachu.
Yeah,
one of the
so
very
crazy.
few matchups. Yeah,
Peach is a character that has really transcended Ultimate. Like, just always been a threat no matter what. Like, so and shout out to Ling for like kind of putting the exclamation point on that this weekend too, because MuteAce is a name that we've been talking about like every week at this point for the last few episodes. So.
Oh yeah. Dude, and again, vanilla characters: Peach, Dedede, Palu, Snake, Pikachu, Mega Man, Captain Falcon, Rocky's Pac-Man.
Boring
and also
tournament.
Toast.
Where do Steve's and Kazuya's
Bro,
Yeah.
I'm saying, dude. These tournaments were great to watch. I mean, you had Sand and Goblin getting 9th, Moxie, Cosmo, like just amazing players. Not even making this up. Regalo, by the way, who's very fun to watch. Great Lucas player. Tough matchup for my man Vendetta, but it was still a fun set to watch. But yeah, it was really, really fun to watch. It was a great tournament just because of the character diversity on top of the lack of DLC made it really, really interesting.
Yeah.
It was just a good pool of characters too, honestly.
I think y'all were in the call, or at least Charles or something, when we were talking about, we were watching a lot of this stuff live, and the US, like whenever we have all these like regional sized tournaments, like you get such crazy outcomes like this because we're not all at the same tournament or something like that, right? And it's pretty cool that like you can get outcomes like this, because it might be more, separated by region, or maybe, slightly larger than that, like not quite a major tournament. So then you get, results like this, and you can really see some players get a couple opportunities that they might not travel out of region as other people and stuff. And Palutena is another character to mention that didn't quite close it out or anything, but was showing up in like the final parts of these brackets. Luis did have a pretty damn good win recently, so it's not like Palutena is like struggling or anything. But Palutena was there for sure, like kind of as like the final opponent for a lot of the time, which I feel like is very in character for Palu. Like if you want to win a tournament, you're gonna have to beat a good Palutena or two. Yeah, and then there's Defend the North. Mr. E winning, which I feel like wasn't the super expected outcome. Shout out to Mr. E for winning with Lucina.
He's been doing well recently.
Dude, I was gonna say he's another guy who could just show like, yeah, this wasn't the expected outcome, but no one's like mind blown over this.
Yeah, no one's like losing their mind.
He could beat any of these players that are in the bracket. You know what I mean? Like this could definitely happen. But
yeah, I was hoping that didn't come off as disrespectful.
No. I think it's just his peaks are really, really good, but I think he just doesn't consistently meet them. And I mean, he knows that as a player, but I think what Charles was saying is that he is getting more and more consistent as well. It's been a while since I've seen him have like a very underwhelming result, and this is great. I mean, these are some really, really good wins. Obviously, Tilde, Jude, Jackal as well. Like just some really, really top level wins. So love to see him, man.
Yeah, he did really well at that level up tournament that Light and I were playing at. And yeah, I guess this isn't unfamiliar in terms of like, the last few events he's been doing really well. It kind of reminds me of those results we were seeing, right? Like Lucina was one of the characters, Charles, that kind of fell off a little bit, right? But Mystery, I guess, adding to that algorithm a little bit. Tilde is also a player that we talked about a couple weeks ago that I'm a pretty big fan of. Getting second is really impressive. I just like watching Tilde play. Like there's so much style and like expression and like uniqueness to his gameplay, and that for me that's what Smash is all about. Like I think of, for these results, I think of, like Quidd and Tilde, like just very unique to themselves, and for better or worse, like it's them when you're watching them play, you know what I mean?
Yeah, all Spacies players are like that, right? Just so expressive with each and every one of them.
Yeah.
Something to truly appreciate.
Tweek's wolf, like so
You,
cool.
yeah, you truly have to
that
have
aggressive
like,
wolf.
you have to have you have to have a galaxy brain to play.
Yeah,
Spacies,
absolutely.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
you have
you
to
know
be
where neutral area. You got to know where neutral area
your
is.
smash IQ has to be like really up there to understand and really like bring out the potential of the Spacies. So
Yeah, it's true.
I actually genuinely want to ask you, Charles, from easiest to hardest for the 3 Spacies.
To win with.
Just
no, I think Wolf
difficulty.
is the hardest. In terms of
Really?
like, yes, frame you to make Wolf relevant. Like, you can play simple Wolf, but good fucking luck. Like,
That's a good point.
in my opinion, to bring out that character in like the true potential of that character, you have to do all these like crazy 1 to 2 frame fucking combo links and all that crazy shit. It's like so hard. Like the shit Charlie was doing when he was competing a lot. You have to do that kind of shit, but you also have to have really strong fundamental neutral stuff, right? So it's like, if you combined like Charlie and Tweek's Wolf, that would have been amazing, because it would have been, you know, really really strong fundamentals in neutral, and then like you get the hit and you can just blow people up with Wolf. But the problem is doing that is very hard. The hardest part about Fox is not the actual like combos itself. It's more of just like, can you move the character fast enough to overwhelm your opponent with mental stacking? Can you play the game that fast?
Yeah.
That's the hard part about Fox. So I think, and so in my opinion, I think Wolf's the hardest, Fox is the second hardest, and I think Falco's the easiest. Because Falco, you have the most leniency with combos. I will say that Falco is the one I know the least about. So I could, like, my opinion could definitely change if someone was showing me like, oh yeah, these are all the crazy like fucking Falco confirms you can do, and this one's like a frame 1 or 2 link, but if you do this, you get this perfect drag down into like this crazy up smash confirm or whatever, right? But my current understanding of Falco combos are usually you can use multi-hits to drag back down, go into another up tilt, right? So depending on the platforms and stuff. And for the most part, you can rely on very simplistic confirms like up tilt, back air, and stuff like that, right? Or you can start things off with throw combos and stuff. And Falco is also the least mobile, so you have to play fast,
right? Yeah,
right. You have to play fast, but the combo game is going to be the longest lasting. Like when you're comboing, Falco combos are going to be the longest, but I don't think they're the hardest to do, because I think Wolves are just like the window in which you can get the true combo is so tight.
Yeah, I don't know how Haz feels about your answer, but I probably would have said the same thing. I respect it.
Yeah.
Well, James,
yeah,
who cares? They're all easy to win with.
I was curious, especially because I feel like this has definitely changed over the years.
Yeah, I used to think Fox was the hardest because
I feel like Wolf was definitely the easiest at one point.
Because the game plan before to win with Wolf was so much simpler. Like, oh, man, take me back to
down smash at 30.
It's just cool because
easy plan.
There's been patches
spam Nair. Like,
there's been patches for these characters specifically. There's been patches for the game in general. There's been so many years have passed.
Because you could just camp with Wolf before because the blaster was so strong, right? And you could just fundies people in the first year of the game with Wolf. So, and to the point where he was one of the most popular pockets, right?
Yeah,
and
he's still popular, but it's definitely different.
Yeah, he is still. I'm very surprised at how popular Wolf still is, but it's so weird because to me, Wolf. I personally don't think Wolf has fallen off. I know other people think that, but to me, the top tiers that fell off are like Palu, Pokemon Trainer. Like these are characters that used to be top 5, top 10 easy, but now it's like shit. Like, are they in my top 20? Are they in my top 15? I don't really know. Palu and Pokemon Trainer feel like gatekeeper top tiers where they're like, oh yeah, like you still fuck up all the mid tiers and you still fuck up all the low tiers, but how's your matchup against Fighter Pass 2? Like, how's your matchup? Like,
right.
How well do you do against Game & Watch and shit like that, right? Like the current meta.
Hey, Tweek Talk fans, you know what it is. It's sponsorship time, and we're happy to say that today's episode is brought to you by Honey, the easy way to save when shopping on your iPhone or your computer. Now, personally, I love finding deals when shopping online. It makes me feel savvy and smart with my decisions, especially when the deals are a surprise. There's nothing like feeling a little lucky when shopping online and finding good deals. Thanks to Honey, manually searching for coupon codes is a thing of the past. Honey is the free shopping tool that scours the internet for promo codes and applies the best one it finds to your cart. Now imagine you're shopping on one of your favorite sites. When you go to checkout, the Honey button appears and all you have to do is click apply coupons. Wait a few seconds as Honey does its work and searches for coupons it can find for that site. And if Honey finds a working coupon, you'll watch the prices drop. Now, this year, one of my resolutions is to get more into working out. I've been good about the treadmill, but I want to start pumping some weights, right? So I was looking for a new blender, right? I was trying to buy a new blender online. And when I went to go check out, I clicked on my Honey widget and I was able to find a deal and actually save $20 on a really nice blender. Now, this was surprising because it's a really high quality blender. Saving $20 on it was super awesome. And I got to thank Honey for that one. Now, one last thing. Did you know Honey doesn't just work on desktops, it also works on your iPhone too. Just activate it on Safari and your phone and save on the go. If you don't already have Honey, you could be straight up missing out. And by getting it, you'll be doing yourself a solid in supporting this show. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/tweek. Again, that's joinhoney.com/tweek. joinhoney.com/TWEEK. Tweek.
Dude, I really struggled with Wolf Game and Watch. I had such a hard time with that one. I talked to Jackal with it a little bit. Talked to Jackal about that one a little bit. And he has hope for it, which is good, but I could not stand that matchup. I always hate when it feels like you have enough range to work with, but you always wish you had a little more or something.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I feel when I'm fighting Wolf, fighting Game & Watch as Wolf. I'm like, yeah, this is nice that I slightly outrange him, but can I get a little more insurance, please? Like
You get something off grab. That's a very big deal against Game & Watch. Yeah. One thing about Game & Watch that you always have to think about is he's going to shield a lot they are going to shield a lot because they want to up B out of shield, right? So what do I get for punishing the shield? Because for example, Fox gets a positional advantage, right? But like damage wise, you don't get a lot. Wolf, you can actually do some combos and stuff like that. I honestly still don't even know how to feel about Game & Watch Wolf. I think for the most of the Ultimate's lifespan, I've thought it was like, I know in the beginning I thought it was Wolf favor, but we all thought Game & Watch sucked back then, right?
Yeah.
And then leaning more towards even, but I don't even know now. I honestly don't even feel comfortable giving my opinion on this matchup just because I don't.
Yeah, same. Other than, hey, this is hard for me.
Yeah, it looks tough for Wolf, but I don't know if that's enough to just be like, yeah, it's like winning for Wolf. You know what I mean? I would definitely want to ask someone like Jackal or like Ouch or other experienced Wolf players on how they feel about it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, shoutouts to Mr. E for winning once again. And yeah, like Haz was saying, I didn't really realize this was quite the vanilla roster.
2019, take me back.
Dude, PT Peach and Lucina won tournaments.
That is very...
Isn't that wild? What year is it? You know what I mean?
Very base roster vibes, for sure.
Based roster, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Lucina is like...
I was
thinking... The only
thinking...
character that would be more base roster than that is like if Ike won or something, you know what I mean?
I forgot about... No, that's
not going that far.
Yeah, no. Not that far. Dude, that's the other thing about these characters who like fell out, like Palu and Lucina. I feel like, well, why play Palu when Steve's right there? Or why play Lucina like when Cloud is like what he is now? You know what I mean? I feel like there's always... It's not that they... Power crept, right? That's the word I'm looking for, basically.
Yeah.
They basically got power crept, where it's like, yeah, they're great, and yeah, they're pretty cool, and yeah, they have their uses, but damn, why don't I just play Steve? Or why don't I just play Cloud? Or why don't... Oh, I want to play a top 2 that beats everyone? All right, I got the answer right here. I got the 2023 answer.
I was so sad on the Gluto episode when he said his protege is maining Steve.
He was sad.
I was so sad. Yeah, we were all sad because even like him talking about it in Hawaii, I'm like, damn, that's so cool that there's like a young French player that plays Wario. Like, damn, that's so fucking cool. Like, dude, it breaks my heart. But I respect the will to win. I respect it. But one side story I want to tell. I might have told this story on the podcast before, but it's about Leo's Ike at Genesis. And I remember talking to Leo backstage at Genesis during the top 8, right? And I can't remember if he would go around saying that Ike is good, but I walked up to him. I was like, do you really think Ike is good? He was like, and I was like, you you know Ike's trash. And he was like, yeah, the character's bad, but everyone else is bad. So I only have to use Lucina against good players. He said those words specifically. He went Lucina on 2 players at Genesis 6. So he only thought 2 players at that tournament were good, or at least the players he played.
That he played.
He was like, yeah, if the player's good,
Damn.
I'll bring out Lucina. If not, Ike's good enough to beat him. I'm just like, that's how ahead of the curve.
The
Leo
first time
was.
we ever played, he started Ike and then went Lucina.
Oh, see, you
beat the mini boss. You had to beat the mini boss.
Yeah.
You forced the respect.
Like the life bar didn't go away. It just changed its name to Lucina and filled back up.
Were you playing Donkey Kong? Like,
yeah, I think we both just started out trolling.
Yeah. You guys are both hard trolling for sure.
Yeah, we were both like the mini bar life bar definitely appeared.
That's what I'm saying. The music faded for a second, then came back harder. You know what I mean?
You guys both brought out my roommates think this character's broken because I play them, so I'm gonna play them. So that was like Ike and Donkey Kong, right?
Well said, yeah.
Yeah.
The college dorm tier list, like, dude, what the fuck? Ike's so fucking bullshit.
Dude, Ridley just down throw into
Ridley. That's a great one.
Those stories are.
Look at these air dodges. Look at these air dodges. This is so bad.
Dude,
who are these gyms playing?
Chris put on a clip of
Mr.
E versus Tilde, and Mr. E had like the cleanest stock. Like I wanted to say something, but there's people also listening to this. But I was like, damn, some of these players played so well like last week or the week before. It's pretty like inspiring. Makes me want to like practice myself. That being said, GOML is coming up. I'm sad you two are not going. But,
wow, look at you with the transitions. You're like becoming a real podcaster.
Yeah,
look at this host.
Up. Wait. We never talked about how everyone forgot it was my 100th episode, by the way. We still haven't gotten there.
Uh-oh.
You guys forgot. And then I got blamed for it. I'm not supposed to remember for you guys.
You remember your own anniversary, bro. This ain't a marriage.
What? I remembered yours.
Charles said this ain't a marriage.
What the heck? Our anniversary or your anniversary?
It's a partnership though, Charles.
Oh, true.
Someone in the YouTube comments had my back. They're like, "Oh, by the way, happy 100th episode, Haz." I was like, "Thank you,
True Haz fan.
The people got my back. I know that. So
I know.
What do we got? We're on 111 now.
Something like that.
I
know that commenter is waiting for Haz Heckle's episode 2.
Oh man, it's gonna be good. Anyway, sorry, back to GOML. Because GOML, it's nice because there have been so many nice, like a little smaller on scale, some of these tournaments, but I just pulled up the GOML bracket, like top 64, top 128.
International talent.
Dude, it is so stacked. And like holding up all these brackets were really good. Defend the North, Patchwork, High Rez, all that. They were really competitive, really good brackets, like really good players placing 25th and 17th and all that stuff. But looking at a major, dude, majors are hard to win. That's what I'll say. I've been around for a while, but holy shit, man. Like,
yeah.
How do you even start to try to conquer something like this? I guess would be a good question for Gavin.
One match at a time is definitely a good idea.
A GOML champion. You have
L
title.
I was not Team Tweek at that time. That was an L tournament because you went Roy against Mars. I hated that.
Awesome.
I was so mad.
That was my first GOML. That was fun.
It was great GOML. GOML's a great tournament. Shout out to Max and Joe, obviously.
Yeah, fantastic tournament.
Yeah, thanks for hiring us, Jim.
I don't know if
Me and Charles will be watching at home.
To GOML since.
Oh wait, you're not going to GOML, Charles? I thought you were.
I am not. No.
Oh, nice. You want to watch a Discord this weekend?
Yeah, sure.
There we go.
I just don't know if I've been to GOML since that one.
I have not. That was the last GOML I was at too.
Damn.
I left. I was watching from the airport because I'd work the next day, and I left it like after the first half of top 8 when I was done with commentary, and I just watched you go Roy against Mars. I was so mad.
Dang, I think
just in the airport, just angry.
Me and Haz did top 8 qualifiers at that GOML on the side stream.
Didn't we do? I did first half of top 8 with somebody. It wasn't you.
No, I don't.
So long ago. Was it me and Rod?
Maybe it was
Max. I love commentating with Max. Rod too, but Max and I we've had history since Smash 4.
I remember maybe that wasn't top 8 qualifiers. I remember one of my last blocks was with you, Haz.
Yeah, I love commentating with you too. Obviously,
we commentated I think we commentated ESAM versus Riddles, which was crazy.
Oh my god, it was Richter against Pikachu.
Yeah.
Yes,
It was
I do remember
popular.
that
It was
now. Dude,
popular.
he put up a good fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
It a good
was
set.
at that time, I was convinced that was one of the worst matchups in the game. It's still bad, but like with the SDI and like more kind of knowledge coming out, it's not as bad. It's still really bad though.
It was exciting to see Belmont get that far. That was one of, I don't know if that was like the breakout tournament for Riddles, but that was one of the few like breakout tournaments for Riddles.
The Red Richter, dude, look at him go. Damn, this is bringing me back, man. This is like early days of being a Riddles fan.
I remember he did well at a Canadian tournament I went to that was before GOML.
Yeah.
This was my Wario days, but
You mean your Roy days?
Oh, look at that. The
technically-
down air, the slow down air stall. Remember that? They took it out of the
Yeah.
game. Dude, I miss that so much. It was so swag, dude.
If you ever think Riddles never paid his dues,
Mm-hmm.
played pretty shit characters. And did he play Ken pre?
Yes.
No. Like, was it after the buff?
After, just like most people, yeah.
So he played Ken after the buff, which is still like wasn't that great of a character.
I think he played him in Ryu, but almost never in tournament. You know what I mean? Like he was not. Terry was a big turning point for him as well. Terry was a big deal for him.
Big upgrade.
And Kazuya, obviously, but
he also just improved
levels.
a lot as a player too. So shout outs to Riddles. You gotta pay your low tier dues, man.
Shout outs to my favorite Street Fighter 6 player.
There you go.
Daigo? So
No,
Keto?
Riddles.
Riddles rules, man. He almost beat Daigo. He tweeted about it. He said he was 1 hit away.
I like
He's
watching him
almost-
play. He's so good.
He almost
He
beat
is very
Leo. He almost beat Leo at I forget which SmashCon, but it was with Ken.
Yes.
And he almost beat like 2018/19 Leo.
I've
That
never
was
heard of
after.
That was
That-
a crazy feat to beat.
That was
I've never heard a
after-
louder
2018/19.
venue.
Yeah.
That was after his DeBuzz pop off. Remember? That's when he beat DeBuzz too. So he was really actually playing Richter and Ken. He went Richter against
Yeah.
DeBuzz for sure.
Yep.
And then he went
Yep.
Ken against Leo, which is also what I would have. I would still do that today, actually. So
So crazy.
The
He was
venue
up
was
game
so loud.
5. He was up game 5. And
I know.
he just charged at the light at the end of the tunnel. I was like, no, you still
Of course, though.
No.
He tweeted recently. He's like, "What if I just started going Ken again?" I was like, "Don't do this to me, man." Like, his
That would
Ken
be
is
hype.
so good. His Ken was, but it's
very
like,
good.
why play Ken if you're the best Kazuya on the planet? Like, it doesn't make any sense. It
Ken-
does, but it doesn't. And he's also the best Terry on the planet.
Terry
Like-
and Kazuya are just better than
It's just
Ken,
like,
so
fuck.
yeah, just,
Like,
just play it. Yeah.
maybe
Why
you could
not
argue
get-
one of them, but not both.
Why not just get the triple crown real quick?
Ryu,
Yeah.
all of them but Ken.
Richter.
Simon, Ryu, Ken.
Yeah, FGC characters. Yeah, I'm excited. I haven't competed in a while. It's been cool watching on the side and taking a break. But yeah, B and I are excited to travel and have a good weekend, play Smash. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Also, like Haz was saying, this is definitely a big one. There's a lot of great players attending. And yeah, like I'm just looking at the projected. I haven't really had a chance to really dive into it. Yeah, this is a lot.
You have some like local matchups pretty early on too. MPG and Jackal are seeded into playing against you.
Yeah, those are some players I've played against before. Yeah, I don't even know where to get started. Obviously, there's Spargo, Leo, Kameme's been doing great lately. AK's there. Zamba's been doing well, and he's in there. Sonics, Shuton,
Oh,
Karama.
This is
Mike-
the tournament we've needed for a while. This is great.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one, and it's very possible that there's going to be some crazy outcomes. So,
Definitely. Dude.
Siski
Yeah.
is here, DeBuzz, Big D. There's a lot. Onan is here.
Oh, I haven't seen Onan compete in a while. That's gonna be exciting.
Right?
Yeah, we got Ouch and Jackal for Wolf fans like myself.
Like Big D's not even seeded to get 9th at this tournament. You
Aaron's
know what I mean?
going. So if you want to see some Diddy Kong, you definitely will.
Yep.
You got me and Aaron in there.
The Diddy Gyms are in the building.
Yeah, we're
Jimmy
here.
Kongs.
the Jimmy Kongs.
We are here.
You guys both show up with the Nintendo hat.
Bro,
That's when
I
you
like-
fully go Jimmy Kong. Is when you have the
Jimmy
Nintendo hat
Kong.
on.
like Icy Mist could have a day for Karama. Like,
Yeah, we got
dude.
Iceman and Siski.
Oh, man.
We got Onan and D-Dog. Cosmos.
They are doing Street Fighter 6 as well. I hope Riddles is entering, and I hope he does well.
Yeah, I'm gonna be cheering for Riddles to win the whole thing.
Oh, of
I've
course.
been grinding a lot more Street Fighter. I finally got to the rank I wanted to in TFT.
Yeah, you
so-
snuck into Plat and you didn't tell any of us.
Dude, I
about
wanted to
Street Fighter.
mention that when I mentioned the joke about Marcus playing TFT while
Dude,
he's competing in Smash. I was gonna say congrats on Diamond,
yeah, finally.
but maybe I wanted to save it for the Patreon special surprise for the listeners that he got Diamond in TFT.
Hooray!
Nice job.
Now
We're all
I
hitting our-
cannot play the game. That's what I was playing the game, so I could not play. That was my motivation. I was like, dude, I can't wait till I like get Diamond so I can stop playing this game. And then like,
What does that say though, Charles? Bigger picture. What does that
dude,
say?
I'm so addicted to that game, man. I just
Yeah,
hate how
I
long
get
it
it.
takes. Like I was like, okay, once I get Diamond, I'm done. And then like this morning, I was like, what if I played like one game? I like spent so much time like understanding the meta. I might as well like play one game. And I'm like, oh no, sunken
Is it-
cost fallacy or whatever the fuck it's called.
Is it like it's like Dota, right? The games are like a half hour, 40 minutes or so.
The games are 40 minutes if you get far in the game, if you get top 4,
Okay.
and then if you suck and you get shit on, then the games are like 20 minutes.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, there you go.
That's actually pretty awesome then, because
Yeah.
sometimes if you suck, it's still 40 minutes in some of those games.
True.
Just-
That is a
just-
very nice plus.
Just as a reminder to the listeners, we will be talking about other games we've been playing and our Smash grinds recently on our Patreon episode. So more of this and how I hit Masters in Pokemon Unite in 2 days. Stay tuned. I'll tell you
Oh,
about it.
true. Yeah.
I
yeah,
did,
yeah.
bro. I was on my grind, man. Like, you guys would go to bed.
Bro,
I'd
you
be
were
like,
solo
nah.
playing. Jesus.
Dude, I
Christ.
was playing solo and carrying my balls.
Playing
off.
solo is
Yeah.
different. I have not
Mm.
played Pokemon Unite solo in a while.
I knew
Like,
you
that
don't.
means you are grinding.
I knew you didn't play solo, both of you, because I go, hey, can you ping top to tell them to come to you? And you go, how do I do that? I was like, never mind. Like, this is just not. You need to be able to yell at people. It's a MOBA skill. Like, you have to do it.
I
But-
actually don't like when people ping too much because it gives me the impression that they're not focusing enough.
I'm focused. I'm like a laser, bro. How do I know everything that's going on the map if I'm not focused?
You are focusing on them, on raging at our teammates. That's what you're focused on.
I do focus on that a lot.
No,
but
not you, but
well,
yeah, I guess we could get into the bonus content. Yeah,
how
I'm
long have we
excited
been
for
going, Chris?
GOML.
I don't want to cut the episode short. We're at 45. Dang, this is a
Yeah.
good episode. That was
We're
fast.
good. We're good. But yeah, we can get into the bonus content, some updates on how we've been doing in Smash and what we're up to in general. And yeah, thank you so much for watching.
Can't wait for GOML.
See you.